Today it is our great honor to have Thomas Geisel, Mayor of Dusseldorf, to join us for a joint interview. Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Today's joint interview is conducted by Chongqing-based reporters. We have 4 reporters here and also a reporter from Rheinische Post, Nicole Lange. Hi,
Thank
Nicole.
you. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Maybe I'll take the initiative to ask the mayor the first question. And we know that this is the 6th year of for the Belt and Road Initiative, and Germany's Western wine. Your state has joined the interview and shares the dividend of the BRI, and Chongqing is making its effort to promote the joint development of the BRI. So my question is, how do Dusseldorf and Chongqing strengthen the policy coordination for joint construction and consultation, as well as the sharing of the benefits? And what experiences do you think that cooperation between Dusseldorf and Chongqing can offer to other German or European cities?
Well, I guess the One Road, One Belt initiative is clearly something that strengthens the ties between Dusseldorf and Chongqing, but also between Germany and China. I mean, clearly this is something that does promote trade between our 2 countries, and Dusseldorf is a city that has always benefited from international trade. We are a city that attracts a lot of direct foreign investment. We are geographically located in the very heart of Europe and also in the center of the Rhine-Ruhr metropolitan area, which is probably the economic powerhouse in Germany. We have some 500,000 enterprises in this area. We have 12.5 million people in this area. We have we produce some 20% of the gross national product in Germany, and so clearly it is good that this area is now linked through this what we call the One Belt, One Road initiative, which is linked to China. And I mean, basically the railroad starts in Chongqing and ends in Duisburg, which is just the neighboring city of Dusseldorf. And I do recall that it was in 2014 when President Xi Jinping, when he sort of opened up basically this railroad track, this very important, how would I say, lifeline of international trade. And on that purpose, he also paid a visit to Dusseldorf, and it's a great honor for us.
So, Nicole, hello.
Yeah, thank you so much, and again for making this possible. I would like to know, as we know, Dusseldorf is growing and growing fast, and I was asking myself in what way Chongqing, being a very huge city with millions of people living there, in what ways Chongqing might somehow, what we can learn from Chongqing, maybe regarding facts like transport, infrastructure, and similar things.
Well, I guess we're even though Chongqing clearly is significantly bigger than Dusseldorf, however, when we look at the whole Rhineland metropolitan area, I mean also Dusseldorf, or the metropolitan area of Dusseldorf, is very sizable, and by German standards, as I said, I mean the Rhine-Ruhr area is the most densely populated and biggest sort of economic space in Germany. But even though we're somewhat smaller, I mean, we're pretty much facing very similar challenges. I mean, transportation is a very significant issue. Air pollution is a very significant issue. So when it comes to setting up a modern system of mobility, I think the solution must be to rely on an emission-free or largely emission-free and very efficient system, and that is sort of the interlink between electric mobility and a very powerful public transportation system. And this is not so different here in Chongqing, the challenge, as it is here in the larger Dusseldorf area.
And
I think we're basically pursuing also similar strategies when it comes to that. I mean, electric mobility is a big issue in China in general, but in particular here in Chongqing, as it is in Dusseldorf, and also here public transportation is being promoted, is being developed, and clearly the more densely, the more people live together, I mean, we need particularly a very efficient transportation system. I mean, in Dusseldorf we rely more and more on bicycles. I mean, China was a country where in the past you had plenty of bicycles. Nowadays you don't see so many of them, but maybe there's also a comeback of bicycles in China. We, at least, I mean, we have a lot of Chinese companies, you know, sharing bicycles to German cities, and I guess this is also something that may be a future possibility to make traffic emission-free and efficient in Chinese cities such as Chongqing. Maybe I should also add, this morning when I had the meeting with Mayor Tang, we also discussed sort of how to innovate, how to transform our economies into the digital age, and Mayor Tang was very interested to learn about our startup initiative that we have underway in Düsseldorf for the last 5 years, and how we promote startups, how we create the ecosystem for startups, how we bring together startups with established corporates in Düsseldorf. And I think this is also an area where we should have an exchange between our two cities, because Chongqing clearly is a city that is transforming from a city dominated by heavy industries, by automotive industries, sort of transforming into a more service-based, digital-based city. And I mean, this morning we also saw in a showroom, I mean, very modern companies from Chongqing that are sort of taking on the, if I may call it this way, the digital challenge, and coming up with very new and innovative products into the market. Well, of course, I'm quite impressed about the Chongqing News Group. I mean, this is a news group, very modern, that plays both the traditional media, print media, also online media, and sort of, you know, plays sort of the whole spectrum of information. I mean, from entertainment to political information. So, I mean, this is a huge integrated media group that, as I said, serves basically all purposes. When it comes to Chongqing, I mean, I've been here first time almost 5 years ago. It was my first visit abroad after my election as mayor of Düsseldorf, and I was already then very impressed by the city, and you know, now I've been here the third time, and it is really stunning how these large cities, how dynamically these large Chinese cities do develop. And of course, Chongqing is particular spectacular from the scenery. I mean, it's very hilly. It's with the Yangtze River and the Jiaoling River, so it's a very beautiful, very picturesque scenery. And to be honest, what I do regret this time, I mean, we're gonna catch a very early airplane tomorrow morning. Usually what I always do like is have a little run in the morning through the cities, and one of the most beautiful runs I've ever had was along the Yangtze River, but unfortunately tomorrow I won't have the opportunity, but I will be back for sure.
So next time.
Absolutely.